Hi, everyone. It's Kevin Miles from Team Bodysport Fitness and Bodysport.coach. I am here today with a longtime buddy of mine and a really cool person, Mr. Jayson Wigney. Jayson is the executive director of PULLN4YOU, which is a charitable organization that promotes strongman competitions and arm wrestling competitions as a way to help cancer patients and victims and their families, which is an amazing thing, bro. And I commend you for doing that. Applaud you. Much respect to you. And I'm so happy to get to hang with you now and talk to you a little bit and share you with everyone else. Tell everyone about PULLN4YOU, how this started, and your journey to get to this point.
Well, first, Kevin, it's been too long since I've seen you, my old friend, and I'm very happy to be here. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you today. Um, I can't, we spend a lot of time wishing and wanting we could keep our connections open, and I don't think most of us do a good enough job of keeping those relationships open. But anyway, that being said, I appreciate the time. I appreciate you letting me be here today, and I, I'm just I love to talk about things that I'm passionate about, and pulling for you is something that I'm absolutely passionate about. Um, it's been 5 years now since I started this. I was have a corrections background that I'm retired from 20 years, and that was for the most part a very ugly place and a thankless job. And uh, I've lost a lot of friends and a lot of family to cancer. And so this started out for me as like I was working out, one day, and I was in conversations, like supportive conversations with a couple friends of mine, lifelong friends of mine, who were working on their bucket lists. And they would watch me via Instagram work out, and that would inspire them to work harder and be stronger. And I'm like, well, if I don't want to sound morbid, but if you guys are dying from this horrible, horrible disease, how can I punk out on these lifts that I do, right? So that gave me strength. So my strength gave them strength, and their strength gave me strength. So I love to deadlift and I love to pull trucks. So pulling for you, you know, pulling for you just kind of came alive. And so I started out my very first competition here in Manteca was, like I said, this is my 5th year, so it had been 5 years ago, and, it was just a fun event, no stress, just kinda raising a couple bucks for charity, and the draw that I got and the impact that I got was tremendous. I think I made $1,000 that year, which is, cool. Like this, first out of the gate, just word of mouth kinda stuff, that was amazing. So forgive me if I get sidetracked, but so pulling for you kind of morphed into, well, maybe I should do this again next year, and it got bigger the next year, and then I would kind of promote it and push it out, and 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 this last year, I made the big step to actually sanction it as, some of these strongman federations, and that was just the absolute missing piece, because I not only was I getting, donations and doing this for a worthy cause, but I was actually being able to provide these athletes with some national level titles or invites, which they really loved. So it was a win-win for everybody, and I think last year was one of my best, absolute best, most amazing years, you know? Um, so and everybody that I've been working with and dealing with, it's just been kind of effortless when I'm doing this right thing for the right reason. I have some lifelong friends. I think you know Joe from Weights and Bars. He's been an absolute amazing mentor, friend. He's been with me, supporting me from day one. All I did is I came to him with an idea, and he goes, "What do you need?" Never any question, never what's in it for me, never any, and as he's been by my side and supporting me in the background from day one, no questions asked. So, and it's people like that that have been absolutely amazing. You know, this last year, I mean, I could spend a whole hour just thanking people, going down a list and thanking people, right? But for today, I'd like to just highlight a couple. Like a friend of mine who is a strong woman competitor, Jen. She was an absolute rock star for me last year. Last year was the first year I actually got to sit and watch one of my events because she was absolutely amazing at organizing people and getting things done. And she's a national level, strong woman competitor. She's amazing, right? But she took her time to support me and my mission and my idea and my views, and it was fantastic. I could go on and on and on about these certain people, but it's just you know again, another man worth mention is Dr. Mock down in Redlands, California. He runs Hot Barbell. He is probably one of the most amazing human beings you will ever meet. You know, I didn't know the guy, but he was one of those guys that just came in and whatever you need, man, I got you. And so this will be our third year going down to Hot Barbell in Redlands. So it's just, like I said, it's just been an amazing, amazing journey. Um, I thought by now I'd be worldwide, but I'm not, you know. So I'm biding my time. I'm building up a little better, a little more, a little better every year, and I think I'm doing the right things for the right reasons, and the response is showing that I am. So I think that answered your question.
That's awesome, brother. And again, congrats to you. And you're on your path to everything you wanted. And I think you hit that sweet spot of magic because I mean, cancer is like we're hearing about it more and more, and so many more people are having it for so many different reasons. And everyone knows someone or is someone that's going through that. And when you
Absolutely.
have people that care and support and you know keep you in their best wishes and their best efforts, everyone's pulling for that, everyone's behind that, and that's a great thing that you're doing. And then the sweet spot of there's just always been this fascination we have with strength and strong men and people from mythological times with Hercules to biblical stories of Samson, and from basic stuff like being able to open a jar of pickles or walk up some stairs to like the arm wrestling, like put your buddy across from you and see who's got what, and cats in the gym that are just strong, and so that's a thing that people sometimes want to test themselves on, and others we're just fascinated to watch or see, whether it's strongman competitions or whatever it is. And like I came from the bodybuilding industry, and that was my passion, but there's still that embracement of strongman. And like when bodybuilding competitions first started, it was on the heels of Olympic lifting. And I had buddies in Olympic lifting, and I had buddies in powerlifting. And I trained in a gym that had a lot of powerlifters. But even the great bodybuilders of the time, like instead of just guest posing, they do feats of strength. Guys like Chuck Sipes and Bill Pearl, they'd be ripping license plates in halves and breaking chains and bending iron bars. And everyone wants to see that. And then so the things that are done in your industry with strongman, it's just a
The the
fascination.
the late great Franco Colombo.
Yeah, Franco was a beast in terms of all the blowing up the hot water bottles, and he was a deadlift monster for just a tiny little guy. So pound for pound, one of the strongest guys out there. And guys like Chuck Sipes and So everyone's already interested. Even sports have an element of strength to them. Even like something like CrossFit, it's more strength endurance. But these cats are, and these young men and women, they're moving some iron around, and so we can appreciate that. So there's a fascination there, and so
Absolutely.
people want to watch it, and I'm sure people want to do it. So, what is your organization? One question I have is like, is it? I'm sure there's male and female. Are there weight divisions involved, or how does
Yeah.
that work? How is it set up?
So I try. So my job is one, it's first and foremost, it's to make the athlete experience amazing, right? That's my goal. So I have men and women open divisions. So there are weight classes. There's a lightweight, a medium weight, and a heavyweight division in the open competition of men and women. But I also open it up to the future with the teens. So there's men and women, yeah, boys and girls. I'm old, so they're boys and girls, right? And then we have the novice level, right? The novice level competitors, which they're like, I'd love to do strongman, I'd love to try it, but I don't know. And so those are the guys that just need a little push, right? I don't want to truly commit yet, but so and then we also have for us old people the masters division, men and women. So yeah, I like to give it as much exposure to the community as possible.
That's awesome. And like, what kind of? I know some of this, but some of it I don't know. What kind of lifts do you guys have at your events that people are competing in or can participate in?
Well, I think what you're gonna find unique with my particular events is that I try to keep things fresh. There's a lot of competitions out there, that have the 2 and 3 similar events all the time, every year, and I try and bring something fresh every year. The very first year I did it, I did a heavy deadlift for max reps in 60 seconds, which was insane, right? But the two things that you're always going to get with me is one version of deadlift, some version of deadlift, and some version of a truck pull. Those are two events you can count on with me because I absolutely love the big pulling the trucks, pulling the planes, pulling the helicopters, pulling the trains. They did at the World's Strongest Man. They pull the train up in Sacramento. You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that, the real like feats of strength. And let me tell you, Kevin, you haven't lived until you've pulled a truck. You know what I mean? Once you've pulled the truck, there's nothing you can't do, you know? Mentally, physically, emotionally, there's nothing you can't do. I think my best truck was 33,000 pounds. So, and so those are the two things you'll always count on with me. Most of the time, you harness up and you pull that truck as fast as you can. This year, I changed it up just to be a little bit different, and we're going to do an arm over arm truck pull. So you're going to be seated in a 400 pound tire, and you're just going to yank that thing by a rope for 40 feet.
That's awesome. And actually, one great picture I have of you, because I had the pleasure of interviewing Jason for my website before, is you pulling the truck, and that's going to be the lead image we're going to use on the YouTube video when people click. Who's this guy? What's this guy about? That's
That
just
was,
people want to see that. That's just like wow! Look at my boy
I
pulling the
think,
truck right here.
I think that was actually the 33-pound truck. Now,
Wow.
I live in a regular neighborhood. You know what I mean? So, but some of these guys that live around me drive trucks for a living and do things like that for a living. So, when I approach them and ask them if I can pull their truck, they think I'm insane. Right? So, because like I had a neighbor across the street, he's moved, but he drove his truck home one day and parked it. And I started talking to him. He thought I wanted him to move it. He's all, no, I won't park. I won't be here long. I'm like, no, no, no. I don't want you to move it. I want to move it. I want to pull it down the street. And he's like, He was confused. So anytime it's funny because anytime I see something rolling down the street that looks heavy, the first thing that goes through my mind is, I wonder how much that weighs, right?
That's cool. That's
So
cool. I'm like a training guy as far as like I love to know about how people train for different sports, and that's one of the things I do as far as training people and having been around athletes from different sports and seeing how they train and like how powerlifters train, how bodybuilders train, how football players train. So like I'd love to know like how do you go about strongman or because I'm sure you just can't go out and lift heavy on everything you do every single day. Are there do you focus on different things at different times? Do you have like heavy days for certain okay, today I'm going to do heavy on this, but the other things I'm doing maintenance work or do you scale up for your meets? Like I'd love to know something about how you train and how you've seen some other people train so that people that are interested in that kind of get an idea of what the training might be like to get ready for something like this.
well, that's a huge question, as you know. So, you would be surprised how technical some of these things are. But then, because it's like, oh, strongman, you just pick up rocks. No, okay, yes and no, but certain competitions, like when I am training, first of all, Kevin, I'm not a coach by any means of the word. If matter of fact, if you Google my name and look at my long list of accolades and accomplishments in competitive strength and strongman, you won't find shit. You won't. Because I'm just not out there. But I do train. I do train for me to keep myself relevant and in the mix and in the business because first and foremost I'm passionate about strongman. That's I'm what you would call a strongman enthusiast, right? So I like to compete to see not so much if I'm better than you, but if I'm better than me. So there are so many different lifts. I call them functional strength. Strongman is more functional strength. You know, a lot of your power lifters and a lot of your Olympic lifters, some of that translates, but not. It doesn't mean that if you're a great power lifter, you're going to be a great strongman, right? So if there's an event, like with anything, you have to have preparation time. So if you pick an event you want to do and it has four different events in that, right? And you're kind of strong and you probably could do the competition level weights, right? Then you're going to gear your training more towards those events for that period of time. But there's so many different strongman events and strongman implements that you could use every day, all day. For the majority for the majority, I do a hybrid because I too am a bodybuilder by nature. For all most of my life, I did bodybuilding movements. So now I do kind of like a hybrid training where I will do bodybuilding type movements, but I will use strongman implements. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, it just has to be fun or you're not going to do it. Right? Any sort
So
of
true.
exercise or training or whatever, if it's not a little bit fun, you're not gonna do it, right? I mean, it's good to go, okay, I'm gonna do a competition in 6 months, so I'm gonna dial in my diet, I'm gonna dial in my cardio, I'm gonna dial in for that period of time. And what happens at the end of what happens in 3 or 4 months when you're almost there, you're like absolutely out of your mind. Right? Because you just stay focused on that one thing, and so that thing that you love becomes the thing that you hate. And that's with any sport, right? Right? If you train and train and train and train, so you have to keep it fresh. Otherwise, you're just you're just not gonna do it. You're gonna burn yourself out. It's not gonna be fun. It's not gonna be interesting. It's like, "Oh, I have to go do this competition." And that's not my goal. My goal is for people to look forward to my stuff every year. You know what I mean? So, like, hey, it's you're 3 or 4 months out. It's time to start training for my events, you know? So yeah, I think that's basically it. It's dependent on what you're going to do is when you get more specific because strongman in general it is basically you picking up as much heavy stuff as you can, right? And try and keep it PG. Excuse me. So
Doesn't matter.
so you're you know, by nature, if I just tell you I do strongman, that just means I lift up a bunch of heavy, odd stuff, right? So that means I should be at a certain level across the board all year round. And then I'm going to dial it in for this specific event or this specific event or this specific event. And that's I think that's pretty much in a nutshell how you face training.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was asking you, and a couple of things you said that I want to touch on. And as someone who coaches and trains people, and my latest course, one of the things I emphasize, and in terms of people being successful, two things you need to have to really make a program work is you need to be getting progress towards whatever goal you have. If you're not getting progress, you're not going to be able to justify the time, and you need to have a level of enjoyment. If you hate
Right.
what you're doing, it doesn't matter what results you're going to get, you're going to stop doing it. And so with strongman, people that have that base of strength and they have that capability, this may be that fun part of what they're doing that's like
Absolutely.
now they're even more motivated to, oh, I'm now going to work on this, I'm now going to do that, and oh, I can do one of Jason's events, or I can do this event, or I can measure myself against myself. And so that's that extra bit of excitement that you get, and then you work on the specificity and learning what you need to learn, but you're excited
Right.
about learning what you need to learn, you're
Right.
excited about getting better. And so that's I could see how someone could just start this and completely be addicted to it. And the other thing you said is about, because we had this conversation before, neither one of us are very self-promotional, and that's why I wanted to have you on here, because it's easier for me to talk about you, easier for you to talk about me. So I get it. People look up me and say, who's this guy? I never heard this guy. And I go to my YouTube channel and see my 11 subscribers. It's like, why am I even talking to this guy? So, but
my my tens
they
of
don't know.
followers.
Yeah, exactly. But we know what we've done and who we know and who we've seen and what we can put the
Right.
spotlight on. And so I just need to find something passionate that I'm passionate about to put the spotlight on other than me. And so I'm passionate about seeing what you're doing and who you're helping and what you're creating. So that's pretty awesome, brother. And I appreciate that. And so I know there's people out there that are going to be watching this and like, okay, I kind of want to do this, but like, can I get any help or coaching or see this or that, whatever? And I know you have your own gym, and we talked about this the other day. Like, if someone wanted to like you have your lifts out events, and are you going to do something where they can get a hold of you and get some advice on how to perform a lift, or some tips, or
Absolutely.
demos or something like that?
Absolutely. I like to consider myself an ambassador to this sport. So and that's a labor of love. So my all my events are already up and ready for sign up at ironpodium.com, and you can sign up right now today. The events are up there, the weights are up there, so the descriptions of the events are up there, and I am also available all the time. So if somebody has a question about anything, they can hit me via social media, via Messenger, via there my business phone is up there on the link. So yeah, absolutely. And while we're talking about it, the worst thing that I have to do as running a charity is beg people for money. I hate asking for money. I really do. So if you want to donate, donate.
Well, I don't hate asking for money for you because it's such a good cause, and you're helping people out. And just so everyone will know, if you're watching this on Team Bodysport Fitness, you'll see all the links to Jason's sites and IG and charity organization, and the links to be able to donate will be there. And if you're seeing it on YouTube, in the description there will be Jason's website link, Jason's,
Cool.
the charity events, so you can find out when the events are. You can donate to him, and we'll even put an affiliate link for him to Team Bodysport Fitness, so you can come in and take a trial with this. But
That's cool.
the half of the proceeds of that will go to PULLN4YOU, so you'll be able to help him anytime you want, any way you want, multiple ways, and just support, by watching, by being a part of our world. And so you don't have to remember all those things now. If you're listening to this, PULLN4YOU is actually spelled PULLN, as in the letter N, four as in the number four, and U as in the letter U. And you can
Don't spell out FOUR though. It's 4. It's the
yeah, the number
the
four.
digit 4.
But for everyone else they're going to watch this or something, just check the description, and we'll have all those links there, and that'll be an easy thing for you to do. And he appreciates it. I appreciate it, and the people that are going to benefit from this appreciate it. And again, that's not something you have to do, but just if you want a place to compete and have that fun and learn some things and push yourself and keep yourself fueled for your journey, that's going to be great. Um,
So
and for
just
me, this is go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. No, please. Please go ahead.
It's about you,
I
man.
was gonna I was gonna no, I just wanted to share a couple things about what we do on that end. And so I think one of my first years down in SoCal, I hooked up with this family who has a son. He was 3 at the time. His name's Killian, and Killian has leukemia. So it was touch and go. He was always in and out of the hospital, and so his dad ended up doing my first event down in SoCal. And what we did is we had Killian, 3 years old, come out and harness himself up to the truck, and he was dressed as Spider-Man, and we made him a superhero, and he pulled that truck, right, and everybody's screaming and cheering for him, and it was just so it's those kinds of things that we try and create, because I think a positive mental status is the most healing thing that you can possibly have. So if you can stay in the positive frame of mind and a positive spirit, I think that's the tremendous piece in healing. Uh, this last year, this last year, I had this woman whose father uh, uh, was dying of cancer and has since left us, but he, he couldn't leave the house, uh, or anything like that. So I rented a nice car. I brought him in. I gave him his own little private tent, and he got to play with his grandson, and he got to watch his daughter win last year's PULLN4YOU event. And that is a memory that that whole family just and I included, cherished, because I was able to do that for them. So when people donate and do these are the kinds of things that we do on an individual basis to make overall life better. So
That's awesome, brother. And again, much respect for you and for all that you do. And for me, my journey with strength is just there's just been a fascination since I was a little kid, watching the couple of movies called Sons of Hercules, and they have like all these, you know, the Mark Forrests and the Steve Reeves and the Brad Harrises and all these guys playing these mythical strongmen on TV, and that just planted that first seed.
right,
And you grow up thinking, you training and whatever, and you don't really think about the future and some of what you're doing it for. And so when I was training, I didn't think that my strength one day would be used to like be helping my dad one step at a time up the stairs when he couldn't do it anymore. And there's no
right,
greater use of strength than to help someone else who does not have that anymore or can't do it right now, and when you go in that direction. And so to celebrate strength, but then still use our fascination with strength and developing strength as a way to help other people and inspire other people, from children to adults to family members to people going through it. There's no greater thing that we can do in the iron sports than what you're doing. So great respect to you about that.
Thank you
And
so much.
the last time I interviewed you a couple years ago, I don't think you had the arm wrestling in yet. That now you have
No,
arm wrestling as part of
no,
that.
no, that's
So tell us
huge.
about that. Tell us about how that
So
happened.
so this is I think it's a very funny and interesting story because, uh, my focus has been on strongman, right? That's really so, unfortunately, I was, hit with a staph infection, recently. It's been like 6 months ago now, and, it was somehow, I don't know how, but you get staph infection, and it was in my Achilles heel, so they had to open it up, scrape it out, so I lost half of my Achilles tendon. Um, and so instead of sulking on the couch, I was thinking of other things I could do, and I got to, having some of my friends who dabble in the arm wrestling industry community, right? And I'm starting to dabble in that. And s- arm wrestling for me, the last time I heard of arm wrestling was Over the Top with Stallone. What was that, the 80s? Right? And I'm like, arm wrestling, people still do that. And that was my first, but like strongman, arm wrestling is one of those things that once you do it, you're kind of hooked, right? It's fun. It's challenging, personally challenging, and competitively challenging. And there's a lot of technical aspect to it that you don't really realize, right? So a couple of friends of mine, go, hey, let's come arm wrestle with us. So I started arm wrestling with us, started talking to a few people, and I'm very novice. I'm not even going to pretend that I know what there is to know about arm wrestling. That's not it would be it would be disrespectful to the arm wrestling community if I was to say that I knew everything there was to know about arm wrestling because I don't. Matter of fact, I'm horrible at it also. But I'm getting better. But I met some good people, met some good friends. Just like anything else that I've done so far, is that the planets just kind of aligned for me. So I met uh, this guy Rick, right here locally, and Rick's kind of a big deal. I didn't know, just a cool guy. I'm talking, chopping it up with, right? So I tell him my idea. So he hooks me up with this huge name locally, Bill Collins, who, if you know anything about arm wrestling, who Bill Collins is. Matter of fact, there's a picture floating around the internet of Bill Collins with Eddie Hall and Brian Shaw as they're learning to arm wrestle, right? So he's that guy. I'm like, oh, I didn't know, right? So amen. So we have this huge lineup in Manteca this year for arm wrestling. Then I meet this other guy uh, uh, in Oregon because we're going to be in Oregon this year. So I get hooked up with this other guy who's a super big deal in Oregon, right? And he's all about it. He's like, "Yeah, I'm in." So we're going to do these super matches to kind of showcase arm wrestling and kind of weave in an entertainment piece that will take up the lull in any sort of strongman stuff. So in my mind, it all just kind of ebbs and flows and works together. So I'm lining up with some of the biggest names in arm sports and arm wrestling.
Mm.
If you know anything about arm sports, you know the name Ray Cote. He's country crush country. He does the arm wrestling handles. He's amazing. You know the name Dave Depew if you've ever done any sort of strict curl or competition or arm sports. You know Dave Depew. Um, Bill Collins is another guy, and yeah, we're just we're gonna make this thing just kind of oh, and another guy who I had no clue was any sort of nobody out of Arizona is this guy Dino. I'm going to say his name wrong. Masculine, masculine. Anyway, he's if you're doing arm wrestling, he's the guy. And I didn't know. I'm just these are guys I met, right? And we chopped it up. We liked each other. He's so excited and passionate about what I'm doing. It's almost like he's doing it. So I'm like, it's those kind of evenly yoked people that I've been blessed with having in my mission, right? And that opens a whole nother door to the future of the Pulling for You strength exhibition. Right? I mean, the
No doubt.
possibilities are endless, and so I what I have to do is, 'cause I get super excited about the future, is I just kinda have to do it one step at a time and bide my time and be patient and understand that there are people been put in my life that know more about this than me, and I just kind of co orchestrate, right? I coordinate, and we all get better together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's awesome, and that's just going to explode because who doesn't like watching that? Who hasn't done that before? Whether it's you're a grade school kid going after your buddies, or yeah, it was big on ESPN for a while. I remember watching John Brzenk Jr. and John Walker and all these guys, and there's guys now that I see. I think one guy's name is Darren. I don't want to mispronounce his last name, but he's former special forces soldier, and he's has some great videos out. He's like world class and just so entertaining. And there's a girl named Sarah Bachman, I think she's like 13-time world champion, and she has this amazing look to her, and just she's out doing a lot of promotional stuff with it. So this is going to explode for you and explode everything you're doing. And when you're tying it to helping people, it should explode for you. And good luck with it. And I'm really happy
thank
for
you.
you. And
No, I
as
just like I
you,
said, Kevin, I'm very humbled by the amount of support that I've been getting along this journey, and I've been very blessed, and I think as long as you are doing the right things for the right reasons, it's going to continue to happen. And I'm anticipating more and more growth and more because I think I think what a lot of people don't know about me is that it's very important to me that you are proud to know me and be a part of what I'm doing. It's not like, "Oh, remember that time I helped that guy?" You know what I mean? It's it's I want everybody I'm involved with to be like, "That was a great, great choice, and we're still doing it today." You know what I mean? Like, most of my friends, like you included, lifelong friends for a reason, right? Not like, it's never been about what I can get from you. It's what we can do together is the important piece, and I don't ever lose focus of that. I don't ever look at somebody and go, what can I get out of him or her or, them? It's always been, how can I help you to help me? And that's really the core of what I'm doing. And I think that's why it's continuing to be successful because I'm not doing it for the wrong reasons. I'm not doing it for me, that's for sure. I'm doing it for a betterment of the community. And whether that's vendors, sponsors, small business owners, whatever the case may be. At none of my events do I charge a vendor fee. None of them. And you find that anywhere else, you won't. Because if you're gonna come out and spend the day with me and peddle your stuff, if you're aligned with my goals and my beliefs, then why should I ask a fee for you to come out and take that gamble, especially in this economic environment, right?
yeah,
So asking you to come out and spend the day with me, not for me, for you, right? But I want to have that experience, that overall experience for everybody, right? So they come out. And if so be it. At the end of the day, you made a few pennies, and you want to make a donation to the charity. Fabulous. If not, good for you too. But at least you had the opportunity to come and be a part of something that I think is great.
That's awesome, brother. And for what it's worth, you've already succeeded with me in terms of being proud of you and everything that you're doing. And
Thank you.
again, much respect. Tell everyone where your next event is. I know you have some stuff coming up. What you got going on coming up this year, and where it's going to be, and some dates. And again, we'll put links to all this stuff so you guys don't have to remember it. But we want to like just start hyping now and let people know because I know they're interested.
So, uh, Labor Day weekend, Labor Day weekend, Oregon City, Oregon is going to be the September 5th. I, I get, I'm old. I forget things in my mind. So, um, September 5th, Labor Day weekend, Oregon City, Oregon is the number one stop for Pulling for You. And it's Pulling for You strongman. And to be absolutely clear, it's always Pulling for You strongman first. And then whatever we weave in, like arm wrestling this year, is also going to be there. So Oregon City, Oregon, September 5th. Manteca, California is October 3rd. Redlands, California is October 17th. And last but not least is Peoria, Arizona. Oof, I put it in November because I was just out there recently and I'm not built for that heat. That's for sure. I don't know how guys like Jerry Pritchard and strongmen in Arizona do this. I really don't. But November 7th, it will be the final stop and the grand finale for arm wrestling. That's for sure. So whatever's going on, if you are an arm wrestling fan whatsoever, you're going to want to be in Arizona at Phalanx Gym uh, in Peoria, Arizona on November 7th. That's going to be an incredible show. Incredible show. So yeah, that's going to be the final for my season, and then whatever other stuff that I do throughout the year. Like I have two toy drives that I do for Children's Hospital twice a year. So I'm gonna dabble in selling T-shirts here and there that I design for trying to boost a little bit of more support for the cancer stuff. And yeah, that's really, that's the main four. So I have a good foundation, which last year was only two events. This year's four. So like I said, I've been very blessed.
Wow, that's amazing. And for everyone, again, check out the links in the description of the YouTube video, and you'll be able to see all those dates and some ads on those events. And we'll again have the link to Jason's website and social, and links to be able to donate directly to his charity, and also to come take a free trial on Team Bodysport Fitness. There'll be the Pulling for You affiliate link I'm going to put in there, and you can come take a free 7-day trial. I'll do more interviews with Jason. I've got other interviews in there with some other fitness leaders, and some things that you may be interested in on nutrition and training. And I have a course in there called Mass Quest, which is for building that muscle, which is one of those things that you're probably interested in if you're doing this. So anything that we can do to help you, and I'm pushing Jason to launch his own school platform. I think that'd be great. And when or if he does, and whether and even before that, I want to have him back on here and maybe some of his athletes as well. We can just do some different things, and as his events get closer for reminders, and because we're going to get questions and people are going to want to know more and have more. And then for the Team Body Sport Fitness members, you'll see all the links will also be there for you to be able to follow Jason, support Jason, learn more about competing, learn more about spectating, learn more about helping out this incredible charity that's doing so much and trying to do it for more and more people. And brother, I want to thank you for spending time with me today. And we know when we cut this off, we're still going to keep talking and
Oh, absolutely.
and
We'll
planning.
probably be here another couple of
But
hours.
but officially, I want to thank you for your time and applaud you for your work and wish you nothing but the best. And however I can help you, man, I'm going to do my best. But again, thank you for being you, and thank you for helping so many people.
Thank you, Kevin. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here, and thanks everybody for taking the time to listen to me.
And we will see you guys next time. Train hard, grow easy, and stay healthy.